Now until 9 o'clock tomorrow, temperature is going to feel more like 105 here in town, but a little bit warmer the further west you travel. And again, we extended that first alert weather day through Wednesday because listen, I would not be shocked if the National Weather Service did extend also their heat advisory because yes, it is going to feel more like 105 to 108 degrees again on Wednesday. And then heat levels do drop back just ever so slightly heading towards the end of the week. Right now in Birmingham, things are nice and quiet, 76 degrees here in town, Tuscaloosa 74 in Anniston. And as you get out the door and get your day started, we're going to be warm. The actual air temperature today going to be a little bit above average. We'll be in the mid 90s and we'll call for a few isolated showers at best. It doesn't really look like a lot of rain is going to be impacting us today, but this in depth coming up when I see you here in just a couple minutes. Mike. Through Orange Beach, Gulf Shores, stretching right towards Pensacola. I guess the good thing is, it's a good thing that the Blue Angels aren't flying today and tomorrow for their big celebration that was last weekend. And then you'll also notice the tropical storm watch goes all the way out towards Apalachicola and then stretches back over to New Orleans as well. So just keep in mind that this thing is going to continue its strength as a tropical storm and impacting places like Orange Beach, Gulf Shores, out through Dauphin Island. You see it goes right, the cone of uncertainty goes right over Dauphin Island. A wind sustained right now at about 50 miles an hour. It's going to hang out there for the next, I'd say, 24 to 36 hours, then finally become a depression as it gets on the other side of Louisiana before it falls apart and brings lots. Not extended the heat advisory yet, but it would not shock me if they saw our forecast this morning and said, you know what? I think they're right. I think we may need it extended until Wednesday. And we've also got our eyes on Tropical Storm Bertha as well, because look at where this all sets up. Okay, so we've got this heat advisory for Central and West Alabama from now until 9 tomorrow or tonight. From now until 9. Temperatures this afternoon 93 to 97, going to feel more like 105 plus. I really do think West Alabama is going to get the brunt of it, probably close to about 108 later this afternoon. And like I said, tomorrow we will see a few showers, but they don't come until post peak heating of the day. So I do expect the National Weather Service to potentially extend that heat advisory through tomorrow afternoon, which will coincide with our first alert weather days. And then heat levels do drop back to right where we should be for this time of year in the lower 90s, but feeling more like the triple digits. Right now in Birmingham, it's 76 degrees, very mild at this hour. Tuscaloosa as well, 74 in Anniston, 72 in Pell City. The pool is going to be quite nice and refreshing later today. There's an off chance that you may squeeze out a sprinkle, but I really do think that the majority of today is going to be mostly sunny as highs will be creeping back into the mid 90s. But again, feeling more like 105 here in town. So that's what makes it so dangerous to spend long periods of time outside when you could feel upwards of 108 in Hamilton, maybe 109 in Center. So just take it easy. And if you're looking for rain, maybe tomorrow's your best bet. And then over the course of the weekend, we'll see an uptick in scattered storms by Saturday. So in the short term, this is today. Again, a sprinkle or 4 at best. Otherwise, the sky mostly sunny. Tomorrow morning starts off mostly fair. We'll see another round of just scattered showers and thunderstorms. I've upped the risk for rain tomorrow at about 30 to 40%. And you'll notice how it was moving in from the south. That's because we're going to see some tropical moisture try to squeeze in and overtake some dry air here in our neck of the woods thanks to Tropical Storm Bertha. We're going to take you back down into Bertha and talk about how this is going to be impacting the Gulf Coast coming up within the next half hour. But in the short term today, tomorrow, first alert weather days due to the dangerous heat. Once the risk for rain goes up just slightly, we'll see numbers drop. Stress on your body. And that's why, again, we've extended our first alert weather days through Wednesday because, again, tomorrow it's still going to feel like 105 to 107 degrees. And then we will see temperatures drop back just slightly Thursday, Friday, Saturday. But Sunday into Monday, we go back into feeling more like 105 to 107. So maybe enjoy the morning while you can, while we're sitting in the mid 70s under a mostly fair sky. Looking forward to the sunrise this morning. Is low 70s in Pell City, on at 73, Tuscaloosa sitting at 76 degrees. And it is going to be a glorious pool day. We're going to be getting into the upper 80s and low 90s by 11. But if you remember yesterday at 9 o'clock, we already felt like 95 in some spots. So again, plan for the heat, plan for the humidity, and I will talk much more about how you can plan for the rain all coming up here in just minutes. Let's get a check of traffic, I believe, at home, but I want to draw your attention to Tropical Storm Bertha developed late last night along the Gulf Coast, and there are already tropical storm watches in Pensacola to about Apalachicola, tropical storm warning for Mobile and Baldwin counties, and then stretching through Gulfport, Biloxi, Mississippi, and then tropical storm watch for New Orleans, Louisiana. So again, Tropical Storm Bertha, winds sustained at about 50 miles an hour. It doesn't look like it's going to strengthen. It does look like it's going to weaken. So by the time Wednesday gets here, I'd say between today and tomorrow, along West Beach, so Dolphin Island, if you're unfamiliar, to Fort Morgan, to Orange Beach, to Gulf Shore is going to be impacted potentially by these outer bands. And I would say as far east as Pensacola to Apalachicola, there's going to be a very rough surf. We've got rip currents on the high side between now and the end of the week. Becomes a depression early Friday, and then a remnant low back over Texas by the time the weekend rolls around. So again, as far as rain goes, it doesn't look like it's going to be that big of a rainmaker on shore. I think the main concern for the beach, the Alabama and Florida coastline, going to be the gusty winds and of course the rip current. You're going to want to stay out of the water. Sure, there's going to be passing showers, but it doesn't look like it's going to be too much of a washout. Better see tomorrow. We've extended that first alert weather day through Wednesday, and it would not be surprised or shocked if the National Weather Service did extend their heat advisory through Wednesday as well. We're looking at temperatures this afternoon feeling more like 105, upwards of 110, and tomorrow could be even warmer here in town. So again, that's why we've extended first alert weather days through Wednesday. By Thursday, slight improvement. We'll be back in the lower 90s, but still feeling like the triple digits. And then we'll get warm once again Sunday into Monday of next week. Right now in Sumiton, it is 75 degrees. The sky going to be on the cloudy side to get things going, but I do expect a good amount of sunshine later today as we start off in the 70s and end up in the mid 90s. Small chance of an isolated shower today during the peak heating of the day. So if you're on the playground, I think you should be okay, but most of you are going to be rain-free. Heading into Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we become more widely scattered, run-of-the-mill thunderstorms at best. And again, on Saturday, widely scattered storms expected. So here's noon today. Again, hit and or miss sprinkle, about 20% chance that you will see a shower. And then on Wednesday morning, we'll start off with a good mix of sun and clouds, and we'll be talking about the risk for rain at times. And it looks like the boundary that we were going to be looking at, the surface front, come through on Wednesday, stalls out. So I do expect some showers late Wednesday night, maybe some thunder, some lightning, but then it finally gets that oomph it needs on Thursday to make that final push south. And sure, I think places along and south of I-20 looking at some heavier pockets of rain on Thursday evening before the sky remained cloudy early on Friday. So Tropical Storm Bertha developed late last night, and again we've got tropical storm warnings for Mobile and Baldwin counties as it really is going to skirt along the Alabama coastline. That code of uncertainty does include Dolphin Island to about Gulf Shores as a tropical storm. I think the main concern with this is going to be the wind, the onshore wind, and the flooding potential as it pushes that water inland. So the dune's going to be in effect, and then we're also going to be looking at the rip current on the backside of it. But today, tomorrow here at home, first alert weather days in play due to the dangerous heat, and then heading into the day, we've declared it today and tomorrow because temperature is going to feel like 105 to 110 degrees, and there will be a little bit of some slight improvement by Thursday as temperatures go back to around average for this time of year. Heat advisory actually goes until 9 o'clock tonight, but still looking at seeing if the National Weather Service does extend it until tomorrow. But that shouldn't matter because we have declared first alert weather days today and tomorrow because look, Wednesday still going to feel like 105 to 110. So it wouldn't shock me if the National Weather Service got on board as well and decided to extend that heat advisory until tomorrow as well. Finally, we'll see some improvement. A front's going to come through a late Thursday evening into Friday, and that's actually going to help push temperatures back down to right where we should be for this time of year. But still, It's going to feel like 100+ degrees. Right now, a quiet morning in Jasper. Feels like you got a whisper. 75 degrees with a very quiet start to the morning and a few high thin cirrus clouds making way for a beautiful sunrise on your way out the door. Tuscaloosa 77, Anniston 74. Going to be a steamy one on the playground today. Again, actual air temperatures touching about 95, but feeling more like 105 here in town. Going to feel more like 107 in Tuscaloosa, Gadsden, Anniston 105, Center could feel like 109. If you're looking for rain today, you're going to have to squint. I mean, there's going to be potentially just an isolated shower around. Nothing essentially too heavy, but then Wednesday into Thursday into Friday, we'll begin to see an uptick in rain and scattered storms. Wednesday, a cold front approaches. It approaches and then it stalls out, giving us a little bit more coverage of rain on Thursday evening as that final push of the front comes through. So let me show you how this shakes out. Today, a good mix of sunshine, clouds, a passing sprinkle at times, but most of you generally sunny. Tomorrow morning, another gorgeous sunrise expected with a few high thin clouds, and then by 3 o'clock, scattered afternoon showers and thunderstorms. That boundary gets close by about 10 p.m. Wednesday, and it really doesn't get moving and have that general southerly motion until Thursday afternoon and evening. About 3 o'clock, we could be dodging some pretty heavy rain, especially along and south of I-20 on Thursday before we'll see more scattered storms in the mix on Friday. Of course, we want to talk about Tropical Storm Bertha, but that'll have to wait. You'll have to stay tuned. In the next half hour, we'll dive into Tropical Storm Bertha and what it means for the Alabama coastline coming up here at about, I'd say, 5:40. Temperatures today, tomorrow, mid-90s, feeling more like the triple digits. Why we've declared first alert weather days, scattered showers and thunderstorms today, because again, our team here at WBRC First Alert Weather Team believes that yes, it's still going to feel like 105 to 107 degrees tomorrow. We'll see if the National Weather Service does extend this heat advisory through Wednesday as well. But in the short term, that's what you need to know. We've got our eyes on Tropical Storm Bertha, developed last night, and yeah, tropical storm warning for Mobile and Baldwin counties. City of Pensacola under a tropical storm watch, but just offshore you've got the warning, and then stretching down through Apalachicola, Port St. Joe underneath the tropical storm watch as well through New Orleans, Louisiana, as this system kind of is stationary at this point. Not much movement with it. Wind sustained at about 50 miles an hour. Going to continue its tropical storm strength as it approaches places like Dolphin Island, Gulf Shores, Orange Beach, and then stretching closer to about Pensacola. You may get some rip currents anywhere from about New Orleans all the way to Apalachicola. So be mindful of that if you've got plans down at the beach. Really think that the only impacts will be between today and Thursday. Scattered storms still expected over the weekend, but it doesn't look like it's going to be because of this particular system. We'll talk much more about our first alert weather day here at home and how you can plan for maybe a few more showers in the mix over the next 48 hours. Let's check in with John Matthews this morning. Well, there's no rain, so that means the commute. Does it look okay? The key, stay hydrated, take frequent breaks, find shade if you can. If you work outside, I know it gets difficult, but please just make sure to drink water. The heat advisory goes from Etowah, St. Clair, Shelby, Bibb, Hale, Greene, Sumter counties, points back to the north and west. And now while the National Weather Service has it extending until 9, we've called for first alert weather days through tomorrow because we believe as a team here of meteorologists that yes, it is still going to feel like 105 to 110 degrees. We will see that drop a little bit by Thursday through the weekend, and then Sunday into Monday of next week, still looking at potential heat advisory criteria once again. Sun comes up here within the next 10 minutes, and really it looks lovely right now atop Red Mountain. Temperature muggy already at 75. We're at 77 in Tuscaloosa. Pickens County from Aliceville to Pickensville, Gordo, Reform, you're around 76 degrees, and then through East Alabama from Ashland up through Piedmont, low to mid 70s on your way out the door. Planning the rest of your day, here's what you need to know by 10 o'clock, mid to upper 80s. But remember, yesterday around 9, we felt already like the mid 90s in spots. So take that into account as you plan maybe your morning walks, getting the dogs out. It is important that you get them done early or wait till after the sun goes down to spend some longer periods of time outside. We'll also call for a small isolated chance for a shower today. Doesn't look like it's going to be in the way of many of you, but if you do see a shower, maybe it'll cool you off for just a hot second. Speaking of hot, this is what the heat index looks like later today. 105 in Birmingham, 107 in Tuscaloosa, and 105 in Anniston. So today, isolated shower at best. Tomorrow, widely scattered storms through Friday. May see an uptick in rain on Saturday, but for right now, heading into the next 24 hours, things look generally quiet. By Wednesday afternoon, a boundary approaches from the north and from the west. We're going to see some scattered activity through about Wednesday evening. And then finally by Thursday morning starts off mostly cloudy. May have to track a couple showers in play, but as that boundary drops south, areas along and south of I-20 looking like we could be dealing with some storm coverage on Thursday. And if we do feel that there is going to be an impactful amount of rain, we may call for a first alert weather day with that due to the possibility of some localized flooding. But I do think that that threat is very low and the threat for severe weather is very, very low. But in the short term, you've got to be aware that it's going to be hot. It's going to be humid today and tomorrow. That's why we've declared first alert weather days. Thursday, Friday, low 90s anticipated through the weekend as well as scattered showers and thunderstorms, more summertime weather at best. And then early next week, Monday, looks like mid-90s with a small isolated chance for a shower. So while the weather is quiet and the sun comes up, let's get you out the door and on the roads now. John Matthews with a look at traffic expected by Thursday. So again, the first alert weather day is now until Wednesday. Heat advisory expires tonight at 9, but it would not shock me if the National Weather Service did extend this through Wednesday as well, because look, I mean, it's still going to feel like 107 degrees tomorrow. That is why our team of first alert meteorologists have declared today and tomorrow first alert weather days. And then by Thursday, we'll go back into lower 90s, feeling more like the triple digits still. Bottom line is not nearly as hot as today and tomorrow. How about a gorgeous sunrise to kick things off? Second day of the work week, 74 degrees right now atop Red Mountain. A beautiful start to the day. Muggy though, low 70s in East Alabama, mid 70s in West Alabama. And again, actual air temperatures today touching the mid 90s. But it's what it's going to feel like to your skin, 105 to 110. Small chance for an isolated shower, and you'll be hoping for that because, again, look at these numbers later this afternoon. 105 in Anniston, Birmingham, Tuscaloosa 107. Could feel like 108 degrees up in the city of Hamilton. Tomorrow, a boundary drops in from the north. It stalls out. Really not much movement with it through Thursday. That's why we're calling for widely scattered showers and thunderstorms, in fact, through Friday. So in the short term today, mix of sun and clouds, small sprinkle possible. Most of you will be dry. Tomorrow, I've been teetering between 30 to 40% chance for showers. Typically, this time of year, models do not the greatest of jobs to pick up on those popcorn-like storms in the summer. But with that boundary coming in, and it does look like it stalls, it finally gets some oomph behind it on Thursday afternoon and evening. So we may have to call for some pretty heavy rain, especially along and south of I-20. And if we feel like this is going to be impactful for your evening commute, we'll extend a first alert weather day for Thursday for storms. Quick look at Tropical Storm Bertha developed overnight. We've got tropical storm warnings for Mobile, Baldwin counties through this afternoon, tomorrow as well, as this system, not much movement with it. It's moving so slow. Northwest at 5 miles an hour. Winds sustained at about 50. So if you've got a beach trip planned between now and really Thursday, going to be a bit wet. We're concerned about storm surge. We're concerned about the winds gusting upwards of about 50 miles an hour up along the Gulf Coast. So anywhere from about West Beach, so Fort Morgan over to about Pensacola. First alert for the potential for some very strong gusty winds. It finally falls apart over East Texas. Now here at home, first, it's in another day with a heat advisory. Mickey, I'm gonna have to put my coffee on ice.
Yeah, I guess so. I tell you what, man, that pavement yesterday, I went to the gym and I was coming back out afterwards, and the pavement, man, it was just so hot. You're just walking into my truck just a few yards. Yeah, between today and tomorrow. So while the heat advisory only goes until 9 today, we've declared that first alert weather day through Wednesday. That's right. Because we do feel like it's going to feel like 105 to 110 tomorrow. So maybe you could get a workout in for me because I'm not doing much of that these days. The walk to the car is enough for me. I'll have your forecast sent to your phone here coming up in the next 30 minutes.